Okay.
Okay, we're ready, sir.
All right. So I'll call you let's start, order that, but so let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Lucas, if you want to start us off.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation
under
under God,
indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
All right. All right, so I'll call you this meeting to order. Roll call.
Roll call, okay. Mr. Matt Martinez,
I'm present via Google Meet.
Sid Hollis Schrader,
Present.
Tuesday Baca,
Present.
Oliver Lesbrunz,
Present.
Georgina Ortega Angel.
Present.
Sir, we have a quorum.
All right, move to approval agenda. There, any discussion on entertaining a motion for approval?
So move.
Second?
I'll second
All right, everybody go say aye.
it. Aye.
All right, moving on to approval of minutes. If there's any discussion. Who's doing the minutes?
Brooke was doing the minutes.
Okay,
Brooke
for
is,
this meeting, Brooke did these minutes?
yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, as far as the level of detail, like, is it similar to our other meetings, the council meetings, and so on, as far as comparison of, sort of details of the meeting or any discussions?
I think it's out there pretty similar and very close, yes.
Okay, so expectation of the detail is just kind of broad.
It is a little bit sometimes, sometimes words don't come out, too clear
Okay,
on recordings or, as well,
okay.
live stream.
Who's doing minutes now?
Right now, we don't have an admin aide, so when it comes back, we'll go ahead and, I'll start it myself if I have to. If anything, I do have an admin aide already hired, it's just they haven't started yet.
Okay. Just on some of this stuff, if there's like a big question, some of them like they're question marks, but I think there was some like other discussion and that probably got left out.
Okay.
So I probably want a little bit more detailed or, I mean, because we'll get lost in there. The biggest ones is like if we had like a directive, or we set some dates and so on, and then meetings, it needs to be recorded in those minutes. That's what we asked for. So like, one of them. I mean, for you, like we just had question marks, like rebranding question mark on there. So, I mean, anybody reading it going forward would have an understanding of what we were talking about.
Okay.
So maybe just some of the context there to start off with. So if somebody else is reading the minutes, it makes sense. And I read over, I was like, it makes sense because I was there. But if somebody were to read the minutes, would this be readable? Is what I'm asking. So probably in the context of this meeting, if we could make the minutes to be kind of legible to someone that wanted to know what happened. The good news is we have it on video, but if we did it, the minutes is what I'm thinking is why we do minutes to keep track of.
Understood, sir.
But that's all I had on that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
A second.
Sure, I'll second
Everybody approve, say aye.
it. Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to lodger's tax, business items. These are listed as business items. I was having a discussion with this normally in the sense events, but we've had some interesting things happen with city council, as everybody, I mean, with the building, as everybody knows. So it's an accelerated process. We finally got set dates and so on, but then we ran into an adventure with City Hall. So normally what we were setting up to do was have a meeting to discuss the packets and have the presentation and have a discussion first. And then we'd have another follow-up meeting to approve. But we're doing a condensed version, which I'm not a big fan of more, but it's something that we have to do because of what's transpired. But in normal circumstances, we'd be discussing again the packets first and then having another meeting for approval. But today they're listed in business items, so we'll be discussing and approving. So the first application is Southwest Off-Road Racing, DBA Levy Racing. And everybody got the,
What did you call them?
Southwest.
Southwest?
Yeah. That has a blue light. No, it didn't come in my packet.
the Levy,
Yeah, and
are you coming all the packets?
no, it didn't come in my packet.
Okay.
I don't have a packet, but whatever. No, it's not in here either.
No, we come. So we did call every member. The only things we couldn't get through Mr. Gina, we didn't know where to get her packet, so.
Okay,
But she, will provide her one here.
okay. They had to provide them physically, Georgina, because City Hall has all the copiers.
Right, I've just been traveling.
Yeah, yeah, or
She's a
so,
busy lady. But we had to deliver them this way, guys, and I know a lot of you like them, emailed, but we couldn't do them email this time because it's like we're kind of camping where we're at right now.
Right,
We're using laptops.
but everybody,
Stuff like that.
everybody else is, Matt, you got yours, right?
Yes,
The packet with the application.
yes.
No, but I'll share with you. if any-
All right, is there a representative for Weedy?
Oh, yeah, one.
Come on over.
On the stand, if that's all right.
Okay.
For me, broken leg.
All right, tell us about your event.
So we've already went through with the council meeting and they've approved us to use the land just west of Rodriguez Park. It's a dirt bike race, so we're anticipating 200 to 400 people coming in. So it's also the beginning of our season, so there'll be some people from Colorado. So there'll be more coming in to be in hotel rooms and eat here and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll bring RVs and whatnot, but again, coming over. Our base is kind of on the western slope, so they have to come over Red Mountain and Moaz Pass. So again, we're kind of encouraging, hey, bring the trucks, bring the family, and put up in a hotel room and eat here. So it's a 2-day event. The first day we've got the mini racers, little guys from 3 years up to about 12 years as they race, and then we have our practice, and then we also have a team race where 2 to 3 racers race, and then Sunday is our main race. We've got the C class, and they get their own race, and then the Pro AV class gets another race. And that's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay.
Of the race and how it goes.
Do you already have a set path so
Yes.
people cannot deviate off those areas?
Yes, ma'am.
Because these are motorized, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because sparks will start a fire here.
Yes, definitely. And all of the regulations and our rules, we're going to be using spark arresters on the big
And
bikes.
has the fire department gone through to verify, drive through physically to look at your route to make sure that it is going to be secured?
Yes, they've looked at that, the flow of traffic, our EMT plan and everything. Yes, they've looked at
And
that.
we'll
they've
have-
worked on it.
People ready for if there is a spark to put it out.
I believe the fire department is going to be there. Yes, we have fire extinguishers, not only through the camps, but through the pit areas as well. Yes, we will be.
And the people that you have participating, your crew,
Mhm.
your group of people, do they have an emergency response already set? Have you trained them for emergency response?
Yes.
Because they're gonna be the first ones that
They are.
whatever happens.
Yeah, 2 of them are actually ex-EMTs and have some EMT training. The other ones are experienced dirt bikers. Our leader, he's the sweep captain is his title. His name is Curtis. He's been with us 7 years now, I believe. We've had to call in helicopters before. We've done multiple extractions, not only of motorcycle, but of the people. Our EMT also has a side-by-side that has the I'm sorry, I always forget the backboard name. There's a name for it. He has that set up on it with all the equipment and everything. So,
And you've notified the emergency, the hospital for any kind of, first respond emergencies?
Yep, the emergencies, the hospitals, the police, fire, everybody. Yes, we've been notified them ahead of time.
Well, I think you'll be working with Lucas and fire and so on.
Yeah.
I don't want
I'm
to jump,
asking all the questions.
I don't want to jump too far out of our largest tax duties.
I understand that, but if
on
I'm
fire
going to
and
approve
stuff.
money, I want to make sure we're not looking at a lawsuit down the road.
Well, which
because
brings
we
us
have
to improving the money. What we can help you with is marketing the event.
Right.
If you have the event, you have to go through application, everything that you would do with government. But as far as lodgers tax dollars go,
Okay.
where our focus is whether we could award a new market to help with marketing
Right.
assistance. Everything else is full board, whatever she asked, but it's not in our scope.
Okay.
I would hope that Lucas and fire and city would follow through with any other event
Yes, sir.
to make sure it's safe, right?
Yes, sir. We've gone ahead and gone through the DRT process to make sure that we had every department head there to give their opinion and their recommendations on how to improve the plans that were given to us at the beginning. He's made those changes and he's also provided a list of rules to the city.
Okay.
To make sure that there's rules that are going to be followed by not only his bikers, but by the event itself.
Yeah, because everybody comes through there. I imagine everybody's familiar with Rodriguez Park. It's nice because it funnels down. We have a gate trailer there and everybody has to sign waivers. And there's 3 waivers, not only the race waiver, but the event waiver and a minor waiver. And we also hand them a list of the rules and everything that's going to be following, like spark arresters, quiet hours, so on and so forth.
But I think on the larger tax side, sir, they've been in business, in the racing business for over 20 years. They have a lot of time in the industry. They spotted out Las Vegas and they were wanting to do it on a private piece of property, but they approached us at Rodriguez Park. He feels that this is a good little
Okay.
way of bringing people into the town. He has
So
a
the
good
due
following.
diligence has been done to research the event and as far as, it'll fit, I'm sure council didn't approve a piece of land without going through the.
Yeah, we
conditions.
discussed it, and he has a following of about 200 to 400 bikers, but being that it's the first race in Vegas, they've been wanting to race Vegas for so long. He's thinking upwards of 500 bikers.
Yeah.
So location, everything else is discussed. You're just here now seeking marketing assistance.
Yep.
And then-
Yep.
Okay,
What
so
would that entail, the marketing, where would the money be going as far as marketing? Because it looks like it's like a couple, 3 weeks away, right? So-
The 23rd and 24th.
Okay, I
yes.
didn't see it. I apologize, but
So yeah, we got the list there, like dumpsters, porta potties, things of that. Inevitably, we always are short of something. It's like, all right, we'll run to Walmart here, right? Because it's close there. The crew, a lot of times we fill them up. We get gas on site too.
okay, but all that is supplies.
Right.
What about advertising? That's what.
So the line-
Chris was talking about.
right, so the line item that you have in the breakout, and so we have to break it up, and the line item that we can help with.
Right.
And a lot of times, and you're blank,
Yeah.
but that marketing promotion, that you put it down to 1,500, that's what more, lodgers tax can.
Oh, okay.
So,
So,
it's a little late, but what the request would be is, so say you did the marketing and promotion, you would just need a breakdown of, hey, your marketing at the radio station, your marketing and so
Sure.
on. And ideally, you want it to be outside of Las Vegas, so.
Definitely.
65 miles, so I'll say Colorado, say you,
Mhm.
you have a radio station that reached it, or if you have, internet ad buy or so on that's reaching, said, people
Right.
from Colorado or so on bringing in,
Okay.
that's what we can help you with.
okay. And part of the marketing and promotional, so with dirt bike racing, a big thing is the pro purse. The pros get paid to race. So if we got the additional money, this would be a big draw for them. And there's a good group of people that follow the pros. They're like, oh, you're going to this race? Cool, we're going to go with you. Dirt bike racing, it's a very, cliquish isn't the right word, a family, right? It's kind of groups. There's 4 or 5 racers that follow, and then of course they have crew and support staff like that. So if we were approved for it, we would actually advertise the heck out of that. Hey, we got a big pro purse, try to draw more people in. Like Lucas said, we've been at it 20 years. We have a really good draw already. If money came in, we're already looking at like Facebook advertising and the other internet advertising, trying to get it that way. I am going to be going up towards Trinidad, to Trinidad. There's another dealership there this weekend, dropping off flyers and stuff like that. So it helps with gas travel. of course, printing everything. We get nice laminated posters. They go out to all the motorcycle shops. We have to ship them or drive them there. The ones I can get to, I like to present it to and talk to. So yeah, that kind of stuff.
So just get some detail on that and some breakdown of where those spends would be.
Okay.
A lot of time coming in, I mean, you don't know what we can or can't do,
Sure.
but we can do it. If it's even broader, look, I mean, for these packets, we're going up to $5,000. So if you have ad buys or if you're putting these, if you can come up with that structure,
Okay.
and that's what we can help you with
Okay.
for the event.
Okay.
So for all these events, we're basically helping you to market the event,
Right.
but as far as running the event,
Yeah.
those come from revenue streams you have to come up with
Right.
For that. Is there any like ticket sales or?
Do you need the money now? Like now, we need to get an approval today, because it's
An approval
happening in
today
a
would-
couple, 3 weeks.
Right. Approval.
We don't have time for another meeting.
We don't, but we don't have any ask for, I mean, he's listed 1,500, but we don't have any list of where he's advertising what he's doing. So we can't approve something that we don't know where he's going to spend the money yet.
Well, we do have the 2,000 that would be for trophy payments. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that goes a long way to
That would be paying individual people. It's not marketing assistance on our side. We went over it the last time with the bands, is paying individual bands, paying individual people for profit. That's how they make money, obviously, right? And so again, we can help promote the event and advertise for the event,
Okay.
but running the event
Sure.
is on the
How
event
does-
itself.
Sure.
Yeah, they have lodger's tax. It's in its written thing where it's for marketing assistance. That's what the
Mr. Chairman.
application is.
Mr. Chairman, is there a way, or may I ask Lucas maybe for some guidance as to how we can do everything we can to try to help them do some advertising at this point in time? It's short term, it is a short notice, but I'll guarantee they're gonna put heads and beds, I guess I should say. People are gonna come, and it has the potential to be like the motorcycle rally where it starts growing.
And that's kind of our idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking with council.
I
and
bet.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
I would support that we find a way. Is there,
I mean, I'd have to leave that up to the chair
Okay.
and deciding on which way it can go. Again, it is a big following, motocross. out
Oh, no
there.
doubt. Yeah,
Dirt bike
I mean,
racing.
look, there's nothing against the event. We're
Right.
just, the procedures that we're following is, hey, there's applications and we just need a detail. If we're to send this to council's gonna ask the same question. What are we spending this on? They're gonna ask you for the detail, which contract, and that's for all of these applications. We just started with one, but those questions are gonna continue on for the rest of the applications. We're here. Of course, all these events, we want them here.
Sure.
The circumstances are the circumstances. So
Mhm.
we're asking, can we bend things because of the circumstance? Well, bending, lodger's tax rules isn't helping. Now, if we have something concrete, like right now, that we can enter in and say, hey,
Right.
council, this is where we're advertising. We know this is, set for sure, instead
Right.
of a vague just approval, because we're just handing you blank $1,500 or $3,000, and we don't know what we expended.
Right.
That's not
One of the things that
responsibility by us.
we've already
If you
talked.
can,
Right.
on those details, so we might not be able to help you this year. What we can look into is, because some of the gray area for, and I was gonna wait until we got the Fiestas and so on, because we put up a few lists, but some of those is when we have the events, if you read the ordinances, some of it could help with fire and so on. So those are question marks on your thing. Those are costs that come to the city. Some of those, if it's an event, some of those can be recouped from lodger's tax. So if we get with city manager and so on, I think some of those approvals can be made by council itself. So for the event itself, some monies can be saved and maybe used from lodger's tax, but that's the code. There's a big area that's used for promotion, where we set aside some money for tourism infrastructure, and the gray area is set aside for helping with fire, PD, some of those things for events and audits. That's the lodger's tax code. Maybe we can come with that, but unless we don't have something concrete, I can't, I don't know what we're awarding.
Mr. Chair, this is Matt.
Go ahead.
I'm listening to the discussion. I'm sorry that I'm not present, but I'm following your recommendation. So, Lucas, my question is, if we were to approve this in some manner, when will the council approve it? Because they're ultimately the ones who make this decision.
So I tentatively have everybody on the agenda request for the next council meeting, which would be on the 13th of this month.
Okay, so with that in mind, and Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I want to try and create something here, hopefully that works. I personally would like to see us do this year, because I hope we don't have to wait till next year. Hopefully we're doing the second annual one by then. But I would recommend that we approve it tentative to the organization providing Lucas with a breakdown of the marketing for this event. And then once approved by Lucas, that the council has a complete breakdown of how they're going to market the event. And I think hopefully what the chair's also trying to say is it's very limited what lodger's tax can be utilized for, and primarily marketing is the key. So if you could get something to Lucas, I'm hoping that we can do this and salvage this opportunity right now, because it's all deadlines. So I don't know if that's something that I should put in the form of a motion, Mr. Chair, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. We want to get something done, but we want to prove it with the caveat that something that they'll figure out where it can be marketed.
A breakdown, like you said.
A breakdown, and then council will approve if that is received. That certainly is something we do. Do we want to set precedent on that? Would we have all of our events? Would we give them that same opportunity? Let's have a discussion on that, Matt.
I don't know if we're setting a precedent. I just think that in this case, because it came up at this, so quick, and we're all trying to make this thing work if possible. But no, I don't want to make this a precedent. We have a process. This thing came up, I guess, within the last 30 days. It's moved quite quickly. It's an opportunity for the community to have one more event, different than we've had before. And hopefully, it becomes something that the community will embrace. And then we have an opportunity to continue to do this going forward. But I don't, I guess if we set a precedent, no matter what, we're recommending to the council that all the paperwork will be in order by the time they have to approve it. So that may be the only precedent that I'm looking at that we may be doing. Other than that, it's only going to be able to be limited to the marketing. There's nothing else we can help in this event. Unless I see this thing differently, I hope that we could get everything in order. We'll vote on it with the understanding that, the organization will give Lucas the breakdown of how they're going to spend the money so that council can act properly. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. I'm just trying to wrap our head. This looks like a great event. I just got to make sure for what I see is that we're being fair to all the applicants that are in the process. It's the next event. If we're making an exception this late, what's the reasoning that we're doing? So we approve something today, right? Council gets to it when?
By the 13th, sir.
By the 13th. So this gets approved on the 13th, right? So you have a week. So then that's another 10 days of time of actually marketing it. Yeah. Okay. So with those 10 days, what could we do to market said event?
Yeah.
So that it's effective?
What I can do is when I get everything for presentation and go to council, is I will already call radio stations along, because the I-25 corridor will be a big draw. I'll start calling radio stations and see what spots are available, try to see what magazines, local, and so on are available, even into Colorado.
Okay. That would be some of the things that we can do, so we can do that early again. We could probably, for Matt and so on, we could probably, have that case for all the applicants that we've put in. So that's the troubling thing for me. We can certainly put it in, I'll entertain it, if the board feels that way, I'm not gonna stop them. But what amount, as far as discussion, is what amount then would we like to award? He's listed 1,500 as the original. If the idea is to help him out for this event, what amount did you have in mind, or what amount did the board have in mind?
Yeah, we've got marketing there. I believe as we went through, we had requested the 5,000. Again, before knowing everything and exactly how it all works. I would say 2,500, because again, that pro purse would be a big draw. Because again, that would go out to dealerships and we'd get it all printed and ship it out to them and start marketing that. Instagram, Facebook, big followings in dirt bike groups there, and start buying some of the ads through there to start advertising it.
So just on the 2,500, you'll be able to come up with, and they'd have to just be marketing.
Right.
Marketing, so you come up with contracts for a radio station or whatever ad buy, you would be able to do that.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Would I input something, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
How about like t-shirts? So would that be a good, would that qualify, and something that has Las Vegas on the back of it, where these guys are gonna be wearing them all over the state and the Southwest, I would imagine. So having our name on the back would.
We've been doing some of that for Balloon Fiesta, with the best interest of, so we have merchandise. So if we have approved that in the past, because it had the reach. Now, if it was said something like that that only circulated within Las Vegas, that wouldn't be what we wanted. But if that has a far reach and they see Las Vegas out there, then that is also, yes, an example, because we've done it with Balloon Fiesta.
Okay. Yep.
So do you have t-shirts in here?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You have t-shirts and
In that, no, t-shirts were not included in that, no. Again, we got a great promotional guy that I know we could get Vegas on it, and then two, we could get the like the city seal or crest. We're getting new flags. They're called flags, but it's where our new podium area is, and yeah, we'd love to have the city of Las Vegas there too.
That's advertising.
Guys,
Exactly, yeah.
Just as a board, it's never too early to even start thinking about next year. Just because we couldn't get things in it, I mean, that's life.
Right.
Just because we couldn't get things in doesn't mean we need to manipulate stuff. I'm still kind of uneasy as far as the fairness of it, but I'll leave it up to the board. But now these are the things that
Sure. Yeah.
that
The
we
process
can do.
and steps, all the due diligence.
Yeah, I just don't want year one. We want year 2 to 3. So you can come to us knowing that, hey, now you're planning it out. I think we've made it clear in other meetings that it's never too early to apply. So I'd be expecting you to come up to us well before next year. And, even seeing how this event goes, council may be more inclined to like, hey, we want to do more with this event, considering the numbers that we saw and so on. We're really late into it. It's what it is. With that, I'll leave it up to the board on whether to do it. I just want to make sure for the board's sake that we have to be fair for all the applicants here. So every following applicant can request the same thing. Well, okay, I'll follow up and I'll make sure that I have the detail there, but that's not the process that we had in mind.
Okay.
The real process ideally would be we're just not ready yet. We don't have the stuff that we need for us to approve, and we wouldn't be able to approve it.
Okay.
But that said, if you want to continue on with the motion, Matt, I'll entertain it.
Mr. Chair, let me just ask one question. And Lucas, you've had an opportunity to do this for a number of years. When an application comes in, and he's asking for marketing. Okay, maybe this one changed from 1,500 to 25 during the meeting, and now that everyone has a better understanding of the process. In the past, if someone had made an application and just put down $2,500 for marketing, now that's pretty much what we're going with, and it's really up to your department, Lucas, to make sure that he's got the supporting documents to prove that he used those dollars or they used the dollars for marketing. I don't think we need a complete breakdown on, so much went to posters, so much went to radio, so much went to magazines or whatever other form. But if it's marketing, that's pretty much the parameter in my mind. So am I talking out of place, Lucas, when I say if they just put down an application, $2,500 for marketing, is that something you guys can monitor?
Yeah, we can monitor it. I mean, as long as it's 65 miles out, we're okay.
Ultimately, we'd have to advise, we're advising council, guys. So again, council's gonna have that question. So we're the filter. If we're sending stuff to council where council does that homework, then we haven't done our due diligence. At this point, we'd be sending it saying, hey, we want to get this through. Okay, that by that time, we're gonna come up with contracts and these contracts are gonna be done. But in the application itself, it's asking you to be detailed. So whether it's the city or whether it's the applicant, it's saying not to be broad. It's saying to provide the detail that's there. Again, if we want to provide that for that, Lucas can make sense of that, but we have to be prepared to do it for all the other applicants going forward. That said, we're asking these details as an application process. There's these things for a reason. We are letting these events for $4 so we can advise council to approve them so they can be delivered. That's just the process. That's Santa Fe, that's Taos, it's everyone else. We're just following the same procedure. And we could decide whether we want to do that or not, or leave it up to someone else. But again, if your motion is to approve with the caveat that Lucas will get the advise or proof of the details before it comes to council, then is that your motion?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do this. Let me make a motion that we approve the 2,500 for this event. And then that, Lucas monitor this. But I think Lucas, to be fair for the process as well, inform the council that this thing was, last minute, this came up this way. They're asking for 2,500 for marketing. And in front of you at that time at the council meeting, hopefully you have all the breakdown.
Okay.
Does that I'll stand with that motion.
I second the motion.
All right. Roll call.
Roll call. Hans Stratter,
I approve.
Georgina Ortega Angel,
Yes.
Oliver Lesperance,
Yes.
Matt Martinez.
Yes.
Got a 4 yeses there. Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we come up with some detail.
Definitely.
But I mean, I would, if you can, the council's be specific on where that's being spent.
You bet.
Good luck on the event.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
We'll talk to you. Give me a call.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to Las Vegas San Miguel Chamber of Commerce, car show, bike show, and film fun. I think, Lucas, I mean, just for the record, the amount discussed was 2,500. That would be your motion, right, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'll do motion. Yes, sir.
2,500.
I wrote it
Just to
down.
be clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Tell us about the car show, bike show, and film fun.
Okay, so this, we had, this event, last August,
Yeah, September.
September. And, it came from actually, conversations
with a casting agency for Outer Range. The reason it came about was the first season, they needed 4,000 extras, and they wanted them all in this area. So we did independently 4 casting calls, 2 in Las Vegas, 1 in Villanueva, and 1 in Mora. And
Sorry to interrupt. So to be clear, you're talking about Philip one first, right?
yes,
Is that what you're about?
so in an article that we were doing with the newspaper, local newspaper, he said that what could help because we're trying to get more people into background acting as well as other local film crew jobs. As you can see, there's film going on right now. And he said that a lot of times they get their vehicles and their headshots at car shows. So this is where this event came from. So 2 of the gentlemen on this, Anthony Baca and John Lee, have been doing car shows for, I would say, over 25 years. They did them at Luna. We're also going to be, for the bike show part of it, we're going to be getting help from people from the Rough Rider Motorcycle Rally to help with that part of the show, which will also help them promote their event. Then, of course, we're going to be having people that from the film industry that are going to come and showcase some of their things. Semi with props that's coming, a couple of the film offices that are coming, as well as casting agent. We also have a few sponsors that have already committed and are already mailing in checks. Anthony and John have already hit the ground running with this flyer and have met already with sponsors. So what I included, and the reason I included the Red Dawn stuff is because we're basically using the same approach on both. I got quotes from Lamar Advertising, which has the locations of each of the billboards, $400 every 4 weeks, and there's pictures there as to where they are. We haven't decided as to where we would want them. It would, of course, be in places that are going to be seen. Yeah. Seen. We were kind of hoping when I first talked to them, we were kind of hoping like Albuquerque area, seeing a lot of people go through there as well. There's another attachment in the back from Clear Channel, which is digital marketing. Theirs, of course, is more expensive, but what I liked about theirs, as you can see in some of their photographs, there's a lot of places where it's rush hour traffic and people, you know, not just that live in Albuquerque, but that are going through, have to see that digital billboard. What they also do is they only, I believe he said, they only have, I want to say 20 advertisers. So it's not inundated with just ads in you know, will not be able to see it. Also, if they have empty spaces throughout other billboards within the state, they'll put your ad there. So what I had asked them was for both the June and August event. I also included the information of where we looked up getting stuff for t-shirts, caps, pens. I've been in around more events and more things that are happening. You see how far those things actually travel, how many times people wear the t-shirts, they look for them. You know, the pens, the mugs, things like that. And it won't cover, we asked for 5,000. It probably will not cover the entire thing, but we just thought maybe a little bit of help on the billboards would be good to ask, as well as Facebook advertising. We have it going through like our Facebook pages, but Elias and I have talked about doing actually paying for some of those ads. We had a really good turnout, being that we had planned this kind of quickly. And it definitely brings people from other places because, John and Anthony go to car shows all over. They take the poster everywhere. And so people come, you know, they go from car show to car show and it's a circuit, just, you know, the way like the Motor House one is.
But sticking with like, I guess we'll go, I know you have all three, but let's start with the film. So for the film, I mean, the Red Dawn, I'm sure everybody, Don, you might highlight up when we go back there. So, Red Dawn event, so I don't want to get confused with car show.
Yeah, so
So
the
that-
Red Dawn event is a separate, totally separate
Totally
event.
separate event, okay.
This car show event is the car show, bike show, and film fun. So that is actually to be able to have people go and ask questions to people in the film industry that are interested in working in the film industry. We're hoping especially to get local crew here, whether it's construction, props.
The Red Dawn or the other
The
one?
film fun.
The film fund,
yeah.
okay. Let's start with the Red Dawn.
Okay.
So for that day, can you explain the event again?
The Red Dawn
For
event.
for that advisory on that day.
So the Red Dawn event, believe it or not, it's going to be 4 years in August.
Wow.
So the exact dates that it was released was the 9th, or I think it was the 11th. So we planned this event for the weekend. What we are planning on doing is inviting the cast. And I have to mention to you that this may be, we might have to do this a little bit later because we want to do a dedication to the memory of Patrick Swayze, being that he also lived in this area. And we also think that that will get his wife and the crew, you know, more likely to come for this event. We'd like to do tours, which would be in both Las Vegas and San Miguel County. So we would visit all the different sites that are open, that we can publicly, because there are some that are private, of course. Questions and answers with the location manager, as well as with the crew. We want to have screenings, which we hope to utilize the drive-in and then the Go Theater. I had talked to West Las Vegas about possibly using something with the Kiva. It's going to depend on their construction. I don't know how they're going to be doing things there. And we have people, as a Chamber of Commerce, we operate the visitor center. So we have people that come in looking for film sites all the time. And we have, I don't know if you know Michael Williams, he actually has a Google map. So we have it on our website. And so we'll send it to people and they visit some of the sites. We had a guy come in and he was dressed in military. This was before the Castaneda was fixed up and had a picture taken. We have a background actor that I have a picture of, and he actually is in our office. So we make him talk to people all the time.
So the event, I mean, so you're going to try to gather all of these things to, you know, as far as the schedule, or is it something that's happening all day, or they're gathering for? So have we ironed out like what the event is? That I know we're doing all these things, but
So
we have a tentative date, but we're not sure. And then we're gathering all these other stuff. But
Yes.
is that?
Yes, and some of these may be ticketed. Well, they will be. There will be free events, of course, for the community because the whole community was involved. We have a few people that are helping us, some volunteers. One of the girls, actually right now, she does work in the film industry, but she's from Las Vegas, and she's actually working camera now. And she was previously a location manager, so she's invested in this as well.
Okay. But it, like, say we provide marketing assistance and you're asking these things, what would we say that our event is?
It would be a Red Dawn
Awards or
40
recognition.
40-year reunion.
Uh-huh.
And it would be Definitely billboards. We're gonna do a lot of social media because we want to get out to, all over. You know, there's people that come in from all over as much as we can, as far as we can. We're also planning on doing, t-shirts, things like that. So, I mean, the 5,000 won't cover it,
Yeah.
but we're just gonna blow it
So
out
we-
there as far as we can.
We have, like, do we have enough, I mean, the question for the date was, do we have the people for the reunion, or, even if no cash shows up? you want to have a reunion?
Well, we would prefer that the cash shows up. I think that would be the best thing.
For a reunion, yeah.
Yeah, because, we'd like to have the mixers where people can actually meet them and talk to them.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if it turns into an event, I was hoping, you know, but it looks like there's some work to be done. This is in August, but I guess that's what you would be saying, as far as radio and then some of these billboards, that something concrete will be made as the message for it.
Right, so if we do reschedule it, we were thinking of either the following April, next April. Because we're hoping to work with Highlands on getting actually a cast done of Patrick Swayze. So,
Yeah, the hope would be with the actual cast. Yeah, I mean, I get the idea of trying to hit the anniversary, but that would be fantastic if some of the cast is brought. If it's moved to April, that provides us time to create the event and have it concrete so we can market it the best we can. Do you think we'll be able to hit the August 11th?
we're hoping for that, but I feel that the big draw for the cast is going to be the dedication, the in memoriam dedication.
Okay.
So, and on that, it's gonna depend on Highlands, so we're kind of in limbo with that part of it. Otherwise, I believe that the schedule.
Well, what we don't want to do is disappoint anyone. It'd be Red Dawn.
Oh, no, we don't have,
A big
yeah.
deal for us, right? Or I don't know, maybe it's more personally for me, but I kind of connect, one of the biggest, starting point. I can't start from the 80s, I guess easy, right? It would be before, but I connect with Red Dawn the most. From that point, I hope we do it well, or that something's done well, so that it can be an ongoing event as well. Sort of like, I mean, this is our Red Dawn, just like Breaking Bad is for Albuquerque and so on. If we do it right, we could turn it into do more in an event. Okay, any session, Matt? Any
But,
questions?
no, but whenever a motion's made, I have to abstain. The paperwork list of our stations is some of the places where this proceeds might be utilized.
Right, on the last one, it was broad. So you haven't stated that yet, and this one, you've stated, the specific, right?
Yes, sir.
We entertain a motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, do you want them combined then for a total of $10,000?
Well, the application, it's, the way they did the application here,
One is for Red
so
Dawn
let's
and
start
one is
with
for
Red
Caution.
Dawn, yeah. Because they've done an application for Red Dawn, and then they've had a separate application,
Okay,
for the car show and film.
I would like to make a motion that we approve $5,000 for the marketing of the Red Dawn.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call?
Alan Strider,
Yes.
Georgina Ortega Angel,
I'm gonna have to suspend.
abstain. Oliver Lesperance,
Yes.
Matt Martinez,
Abstain.
we have two for yes and two for abstain, sir.
Did you call me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Look, provide the details. There needs to be more concrete stuff. Again, I'm excited about the event, just like any other event. Let's iron out what exactly it's gonna be. Get it out to the public, provide the details to Lucas and start advertising for it. In an ideal world, we'd already have the, it's in August, but that's only, it's right around the corner. So we want to create the event, let's get it nailed down so we know what we're advertising. I think everybody still gets the wrong idea of what lodgers taxes is trying to refocus. Do the event, describe everything that this is what's gonna happen, this is what we're gonna do, and then come to us, say, we need to advertise this for this much time on these stations, on the internet, and this is what our idea is. Sometimes you can give more money because if we see an event that's well thought out and well done, it becomes really easy to recommend. So you'll be able to iron out the details of the event, and so on. So we know what we're advertising. We will say like green and so on. What would be the fallback if it doesn't happen on August? Will we continue marketing it and say another date?
It's just a vote on a motion at this point, isn't it, Mr. Bennett? The discussion's already been had.
Okay.
We would still do it, but not, I agree with you as to we need to make sure we have everything in place. But since we don't have another meeting till
Discussions are
August, that's why we asked for it since now. As to this is what we want to do. I mean, if the thing doesn't happen with Highlands, and we have to put it off, we will. We're not gonna just, especially something like that, because it's a 40-year anniversary, and I mean, if we can't have it on the exact date, we're fine with that. It still happened here, and this is the place that gets to celebrate it. I mean, we could come back in August for it, but
Yeah, it's tough
We
to
have
say yes
another-
to an event that I don't know is gonna happen or not gonna happen, right? So for
and honestly, we're
you,
gonna do it either way. I mean, whether we
you're gonna have
Lodgers-
something happening
yeah,
either way.
whether we have lodgers tax money or not, we're gonna do this.
Okay, so something is gonna happen on the 11th.
I hope on this day, yes.
Okay.
It depends on Highlands. And that was something that just came up actually, because, yeah, just other things.
Yes.
Sir, just for clarification, it's a yes for the amount?
Yes, and then per discussion, look, the event has to be ironed out.
Okay.
For it. Again, I mean, with the board, guys, for the things that we are approving, there needs to be actual events, it needs to be concrete, and so on. We are going with goodwill at this point, but into going to the future, we're expecting to have actual concrete event to go by. Feel good is not actual events. Let down the event feels good. But if there's nothing to be had,
Well, it was concrete up until I didn't. Our plan with that is on the part.
Sure. Mr. Chair, the original motion was to go ahead and approve. Second, after that was you asked for her to have documentation. Are we going with the documentation about the advertising?
there has to be an event.
So is
Right.
going to be any type of documentation that he presented to before council? Or are we just going with the original motion of approving it as is?
Well, Matt's motion was without it, right?
I believe it was all Oliver.
I'm sorry, Oliver.
Yeah, it was without it.
It is assumed that again, the way I look at making a motion is the fact that, as you said, we are a filter for council, and council inevitably will approve the money. So they also have to have the diligence in knowing that there's a plan together. I'm sure Lucas and council aren't gonna divvy out money without a plan.
It's also why when we started the meeting that we have two meetings, we have discussion and then and that's the whole reason. So these decisions don't be made off of that you have the discussion, and then these things are ironed out in the next meeting. You have a clear item where I'm saying I'll be clear and why I'm saying yes. The motion was without it, but I'm saying yes. because I was also assuming that hopefully this is gonna be a good event and these details will be provided.
Yes, sir.
In a normal circumstance, I might not make that decision. So that's all I'm saying. So we'll stick with that.
And for the record, shall we say the amount, sir?
Already, did you ever come out in your,
My motion was for the $5,000. Yes.
everybody that said yes was
Did
clear
include the other one.
on that?
Yes.
Okay. So it's
Thank you, sir.
yes.
We could, I guess, go on to the car show one then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you care for a motion?
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we do approve $5,000 for the car show as presented.
I'll second that.
Shall we roll call, sir?
Roll call.
Mr. Matt Martinez,
Abstain, I'm on the list here.
Alan Strader,
Yes.
Oliver Esperance.
Yes.
Georgina Ortega Angel.
Yes.
So we got 3 yeses. Motion carries, sir.
All right. And so that second application was all 3, by the way. It was car show, bike show, and film fun, okay?
Yes.
All right. Hold on.
All of them, so. The 5,000 for each, for all of them, you said, right?
Total.
Yeah, well,
You guys are 5,000, yeah, so that's for all 3 of those.
okay, thank you, sir. Just trying to make sure and put on the records.
All right, what's on the next one? Just lost my agenda.
Chad Brown.
Chad Brown, sir, for, the Las Vegas Phoenix, sir.
All right.
Come on over, Chad. I apologize, sir. I'm trying to get colors, copies for you guys. Again, we're in a different office, so we wound up having to get black and white, so I really have to apologize. If you would have seen the colors, it's really, really,
Spectacular.
beautiful colors.
Well, yeah, I have actually brought my iPad to show you guys. Instead of trying to approach this the same as the last couple, because I think that the conversation is enlightening me as far as the limitations that you guys have to stand for. Is there any leverage that we've gained by the minutes and speaking with David Romero?
But those minutes, not yet, sir.
Okay.
Nothing yet. Yes, sir.
Due to that, with the application that I put in through your office, I was understanding there would be a slightly different approach in funding for me. Is that accurate to all verbally for you, or?
Not right now. At this moment, the mayor has not given me any type of directive or any direction as far as the minutes.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna try to say this practically rather than, being too rhetoric speaking here, okay? The fact of the matter is I am the artist making this piece. And ultimately, my funding and my attempt at gaining money is where I'm approaching this, not exactly in the aspect of advertising. I realize the limitations specifically you guys are there. Where I am ultimately appealing to you guys is the fact that I have no way to fund this through the city. And it was told me in the meeting that I had with the council twice and having approval for the space, I can actually even back up and tell you about the piece. Should I do that first? All right. So you see the colors, so you know what the heck I'm talking about. I have a sculpture that's been approved by city council. It's going to be going in the Plaza Park approximately the months from August till about January. It's a 24-foot tall sculpture. These are just drawings now. I'm in the process of making it right now. This is the head to give you a little bit more how the detail will work out. Okay. And then this is the profile. It's a 24-foot tall sculpture. It's a winged sculpture. It's not permanent in the plaza. It's a temporary sculpture. This is all coming out of my pocket, but I do have a fundraiser I've been working with. The way to justify this is I have a master's degree. I've made art. I've taught art. I know what I'm doing. This is a 37-foot tall sculpture that was in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Rotunda. 37-foot tall sculpture. It was actually in reference to the 2008 recession. At that, for some reason, everybody was obsessed about the fact it would be the end of Las Vegas. then make a sculpture dedicated to the cycle of life, beginning the death cycle. When this plant itself dies, it seeds, and then more offspring come. So as they try to encourage the people, as this piece ultimately is, the obviousness thing here is that we've been through the fires, and it was devastating for not just us, not, I think, emotionally by what we experienced, but I think our ego was hurt, the fact that it was actually started here. So I think where my experience was, I was bartending over at the Castaneda, and all the evacuees were coming through there, and I got to hear firsthand stories that were heart-wrenching. It took me, honestly, a year to stop crying every time I talked about it. But now it's more of like a legitimizer for why I decided to make the piece in the first place. It is in the writing in your application. Ultimately, the piece is to help lift the spirit, overall, the spirit of people within the region. It is a standing piece for the adversity that people went through here and up into the northern region of the state. Keeping it short, ultimately, the piece is intended to show that the path future of this place is not just a remembrance of what has happened, not just now and over the last few hundred years, but rather an exciting future as well. So the rest of the work on my website here is just legitimizing and visually explaining not only what it would look like, where it would go, and how I've made work similar to it in the past. So, I mean, the main thing about the Las Vegas, Nevada piece is a legitimizer of the exact path beforehand of doing this kind of work, a reason coming up, an idea for work, and the satisfying public event around the work. So ultimately, I have a fundraiser through what is called, forgive me, my brain will sometimes just lose something, Fractured Atlas. Now that is a national fundraising group out of New York that filters the money on as a, not good at this part either, 301. I'm not sure the tax element for a nonprofit, and that's sometimes how money comes in. I have by individuals as well as 3,000 from Las Vegas Community Foundation and the Mustard Seed Grant from the Presbyterian Church been given money by the city. But in meeting with the city and saying I was going to establish this and try to find the money myself, David Romero on the minutes that I did provide Lucas Marquez, that he did say the city wanted to fund and the council was looking to approve and fund the piece. The difference is ultimately I'm at half point. I have about $12,500 I made it out of the 25 that I wanted. And the most logical place to me would be a lodger's tax. And the specific reason is, if we're talking, I understand ultimately that how difficult this will be to be asking of it. But the heads and beds concept is a very understandable and honorable place. It actually puts the word lodgers with the concepts too beautifully together. Ultimately, there's asking for the city seems to not be coming from any place other than people pointing to this. Where I find concern, and I understand this is not the point of the meeting. I understand this is kind of somewhat like what would we do this with this information? But the appeal I originally had in the writing, as I put it through my own application for the marketing, was in arguing just this point. Without these kinds of things, without a sculpture, there is nothing to market. This specifically is trying to fund it with a tax that will put heads in beds because it gives something for somebody to come look at, not just having an event, but rather a thing. And it is going to be an event that lasts for months on end, from August to January. It's a declaration of our survival and our projection of a positive attitude past this. I have it in the writing that there's an estimated 10,000 plus people that would come to see this. The marketing, of course, that we have will be regional as far as outside of the markets, outside of the space that's 65 miles. But ultimately, it's about getting the message out there to all the people that suffered through this fire. There's also the aspect that the national attention that's been on us will be embraced, as this is a bit of a flare shot that we're surviving. We're having an intention past this. All this ultimately just boils down to the fact that if it's about marketing, this probably could fail as far as what I'm asking here. I don't have a plan, and I can reapproach in August. It has to be through marketing. But the fact of the matter is, the having something to celebrate, something to point to, heads in beds element is what I'm looking for support. It makes the most sense. Ultimately, I'm gonna have to have you guys have your say over this, and I can reapproach in August for marketing if that's what it's gonna be. But David Romero on record said that he felt like this would be the most logical place. At least that's what I understood the words. We can pull up the minutes and have that discussion later if we need to.
Okay, so I just, a few questions I'll
Yeah.
leave the bill for discussion with the board. So biggest question is, would it be permanent and who would own the statue?
So the statue, I suppose at this point, it's a, I mean, to be clear, it's a sculpture. There's a way that it's like, it's not going to sit there the same. And so there is no ownership of it. The aspect of having it, where it's going to go, what it's going to do is a difficult one because my focus just happened on getting it made. I'm in the process right now. Its placement is going to be, it's temporary. So I figured as an outsider in my experience to handle this softly was the approach. So it's going to be something, the ownership is not declared. I suppose it's mine, but it's not intended to be worried about in that way. It's an object that ultimately can be just the city's. I would give it to if I could meet my funded point. It's just ultimately, I can't take off the time of work and work on this thing with the amount of time it needs because I was missing hours of work, missing money. This is ultimately why I need this is a $100,000 sculpture I'm asking 25 for. So ultimately, I already see that I'm giving this away. I'm asking just to be able to pay for my life. And that's ultimately what the money would be for. But that's where the difficulty is. It's not permanent. The idea ultimately would come to be somewhere in town permanently, but it's going to have a tour. The governor already knows about it. She wants to come to the opening, which is in August. August 21st is the day that the fire was officially declared contained. So I want it ceremonious. Its erection or ceremonies for that time because it is a phoenix that rises from the ashes. It makes total sense. I mean, I know feel good is the word used before. It's obviously a good thing, and it's obviously something sports-wide. The governor was like, "Yeah, I'll be there for that." It's gonna look good for her too, right? So ultimately, it's going to honestly once that happens, they get a lot more notoriety around the state. It's probably going to be vocalized through her system. Its duration here is honestly stopping in January for two reasons. One, I said temporary should be temporary. The second reason is the wind starts about late January. Sure. By my experience, and it's not a play. So
the reason I asked whether it be permanent or we would own it. I mean, we would start getting into procurement issues as well, and whether that be a contract or not. There's a whole myriad of questions in there. I was trying to see if we could put it in as tourism infrastructure. It was something permanent that we would be celebrating year after year. It'd be a permanent thing for.
I'd like to go that route.
That's there, like our other statues or other historic items. Yes, this even present. This marks a a point in time that we can mark, and if that can be a continuous asset of the city, then we can promote it as tourism. And so, in that focus, we could do that. But we don't at this point. We don't have an event. We'll be helping you with the statue that we don't know is going to be completed or not, right?
Well, I mean, I would say declarative, but here's one of the things, without the money, I will get finished.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even know how Lucas or anyone would approach just that contract for that to get done, and it would put you in that scenario of you must complete it. This was delivered. I mean, before this, for Lucas, for any other discussions, for all the money that we have for fire and so on, there is no other scenario where we could have a celebration or monument for that. There's got to be it. There's got to be some scenario where there's money, especially if governor is coming and so on. I just feel like there wouldn't be a more proper venue, so we don't have these type of questions where it's in donation, so we can make this sculpture and so on. So we don't have procurement issues. We don't have to worry about how we're spending this money correctly. But at this point, I'm not even sure how we would write up a contract.
I understand. I mean, partially I'm looking just for advisory with you, yeah.
Some of these other things, okay, we're fleshing out ad buys and so on. Well, they're gonna have to produce contracts and so on. And for you,
I understand.
the execution part of it would be, to me, a little bit, harder.
Chair?
So I'll entertain the question from,
Yeah, I'd like to just add a little bit into this discussion here. Because it's a historic time and place, and that it's significant to the community, I think you should be looking at, funding through another round, another, area of money in your historic, that we get for like monument or dedications or plaques or so forth at the state. This is a recognized date, 2 years ago. And the sculpture, and if the community, I'm sure you'd have to go out and show the community what you're doing so that they buy into this too.
Mhm.
But I think it's not coming through us. I think the money should be coming through the state for, like what we do for plaques.
well, that day, when you have that event and the unveiling, we can help market that.
Right,
That's what
I-
we can market.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, that might be how we approach just some assistance. It's, I mean, to be honest, the aspect of where my mind goes is all about making the thing. So for me to plan all of this otherwise starts to be like, cart before the horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have
You
to,
just want to get it built.
yeah, and
It's
I
like
know
we run
that,
into the kind of the issues of, that's why I have to ask who owns it.
yeah.
Is it?
If it matters for the sake of talking about it, I like to do things with Frank's like not good at the rhetoric the way sometimes it's presented in this way. Ultimately, this is going to be the first of art and public places. It's also another place to approach the money as you're speaking, because there might be an avenue of art and public spaces, public places, as an entity to fund this otherwise.
I think the city should approach FEMA about this, because they've got a huge list of what they could use their funding for. But being that the city represents the community and possibly bringing in the county and approach FEMA and have them look for funding to do something for this historic date and recognize, for the community, because the community is still feeling
Yes,
pain.
yes.
And there's nothing out there to show recognition of this time other than what everybody's has suffered. So I would look at,
I agree with you. I see the.
but going through the city and the county and then, the state.
Mr. Chair?
Do you have a studio, or is there any way we could look at this?
And you guys, I think I actually met you too at a legal tender one day.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, I have my house. It's where I work out. I work building this literally in the yard. Sometimes people ask me, how will it do outside? It's like, it's born outside. So yeah, you can come.
I'd like to come and see it.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to watch the development of it.
Sure.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it would benefit our community tremendously. I'm surprised that, that the seed money from the Presbyterian Church was obtained. So I don't know if it was easily or not, but I definitely feel that we should be supporting you.
Thank you. Yeah, the money that's come has been some, not a lot. That they give me 500, and if I'm looking at 25,000, obviously that's all. Sure. I mean, the cost alone is around 12. I'm just trying to make up some of the money that I put into this. Thousands of hours I'm asking. An hour,
But it's the labor of love.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's my heart first. I'm just trying to balance my life through it.
It would be nice if somebody would donate the space for it permanently. Like maybe even the Castaneda would do it.
So possibly.
Let's see if we can do some memory. Matt, you had a question?
Yes, and I think Georgina is really heading in the right direction with this. And I don't know if the city can do this directly, and maybe the cart's before the horse already, but the city could literally go out for an RFP for a sculpture that signifies pretty much what Chad talked about. And unfortunately, his idea is already out. So, it's going to be hard to, go back on this. But the city, although, you know, every time there's new construction, a percentage of it goes to art for different entities. And I don't know, I think going through the state system might be a real, you know, might be a long time before you're able to get that done. But the city might be able to do something pretty much with a direct RFP asking, you know, for submissions of X, Y, and Z that fit certain criteria, and then turn it around pretty quickly. I think Crew Tech's also correct, is that once you have a date ironed out, then we can help with the marketing of that event and possibly some perpetual marketing, you know, if there's some money left over to let people know, you know, about this piece, you know, all the way into January, like you stated.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is back to Lucas. Lucas, is there some other entity that the city, because I see this coming from general fund dollars, not lodger's tax, for the sculpture itself?
So I haven't gone all the way through the minutes. I know Mr. Brown said that there was some discussion of then Mayor Romero was counselor speaking in regards to helping to put some kind of funding. I haven't gone all the way through those minutes, so I can't really answer to that. What I can say is that my understanding of the application was it was to market the unveiling of the statue, and that's why
Okay.
we brought the application.
Yeah, and that would be, you know, fair game. We're marketing the event. We're helping, it's marketing for that. I mean, those are the cleanest things, and I think you've heard everything that we've said
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Is like, hey,
I
there's a
understand.
set event, it's ironclad. This is where
Right.
we're marketing, and frankly, when we get to that point where we're not kind of sliding around here and when we have ironclad stuff, we could award larger and larger amounts of money. But folks, imagine if before, in front of larger sects where people invest for 20, 30, 40, $50,000. And when they don't have the details, and we're awarding that kind of money, that's when we step back and said, hey, we're doing 2,500 and 5,000 so because we're wanting the events to actually, some of these events have done the homework and done it. You know the process now. If we have a day, as far as I was trying to help with, as far as the structure itself. Now, again, I think if we can connect it enough with tourism and we can have continuous marketing events with it, Lodgers may have a role.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to. But if we don't have a clear idea of is it going to be permanent or not, whether it's owned by the city or not, or so on, that's hard for me to say it's infrastructure.
Yeah.
So some of the things we could do with tourism infrastructure, in my mind, is it's got to be permanent. But if it comes around to you and that's something that you're willing to part ways with the city, I can see an avenue there as long as we have a clear plan of how is this tourism related infrastructure. Some of the things we've gone over in the past for what we're helping in some of these other packets that I've seen is we're putting in stuff for infrastructure. There'll be a continuous promotion, help with a continuous promotion of tourism. So if we're getting these said sculptures, that said, for the attack that we've had, there's seems to be an enormous amount of funds that I believe are unspent, where I believe we just haven't had the reach or know-how, especially if the governor's being involved. For stuff like this, there should be something for the amount of monies that are being awarded. If it's not federal, it's state. And I'm sure even for discretionary funds for some of these things, this could be applied to this event. And now, and maybe mayor and so on, communicating with the state can work on some of that. We want to have a dedication. We want to have sculptures done. Is there any assistance that can be provided to the community to get this done? Then we have the event. You tell me where you're going to market it and so on. Tell the board we're going to market and so on. And then now we've got something to use Lodgers Tech.
Yeah, I just didn't understand how hard-edged that was until being here. And I understand you're trying to find a loophole still with your verbiage. If we could work together to get there, to be honest, let's just say, hypothetically, you guys unilaterally agreed for 5,000 for the sculpture and some sort of loophole context. That could happen in August. It doesn't have to happen now. The main reason is that ultimately that's just compensatory for me. And so it's not a time-based restraint. When is the meeting in August with you guys?
August 15th.
Yeah.
So that's a deadline.
It's a deadline.
Yeah. for.
That's gonna put me like right up to the edge of the other one, like as far as the other I mean, look at that. It's like almost wanting to go back into advertising then. And they were asking for the same loopholes the first and second ones, or especially the first point that they made. I don't even know if I would want to bother presenting that, because I feel like it's a last ditch effort. But, yeah, I mean, I just
But I
need
mean,
to
let's say,
talk
Ray,
through.
I believe if we come back with something more concrete and a day, then maybe we can readdress it.
Okay,
If it turns into an event that the governor would want to show up to, I would say that in larger stacks could help. I'd say I'd call a special meeting.
okay.
And have that done.
That's
Right,
nice of you to say.
when you have that attention, and so on, that is, tourism, this, attention towards.
Yeah, I can't hold her to her word, but she knows about it. She said she's
So-
coming.
So if we can turn this into an event that's really, benefiting the town, then yeah.
That's the ultimate
special
goal.
meeting, but we got some homework to do, so. I'll entertain a motion to table this until we have something that we can apply points to.
I so move.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call?
Matt Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Trotter,
Yes,
Oliver Esperance. Yes. Georgina Ortega Alonso,
yes.
motion carries it.
All right, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate all the input and, the heartfelt sentiments. It helps me a lot. And if you guys have any more ideas or input, I'm absolutely open.
I would keep pushing for the ideas of if you can get other donations for it, for the event, and then, and then have the event. And
Yeah.
then If we need to do, if it's something big, and we need to have a special meeting or so on to approve the event or people that are coming, or if we're having that kind of attention, because that brings eyes, that is tourism.
Well, I believe, yeah,
Whether
that
it's political or so on, that it's bringing eyes when you have a set event, for it, and I shouldn't say political, but of what's happened to this,
Significance, yeah.
the significance of this town, then that there's something there. So,
absolutely.
you just keep us updated on that, when it happens.
I will. I want you guys all to know, just because I'm telling you about this, this is what I ultimately want this audience to tell about the piece. I hope that, everybody wants to know where this is going to go, where it's going to end up. It's one of those things for me, I can't get there until I know it's done. And then there's other people offering spaces, and they won't offer the space till they see it. So this once again hinges on it being done. Right. It's a cycle. It falls apart real quickly verbally, but you understand that more now in hearing it. That's one of the reasons I would want to tell you guys about it. Lastly, I would like to say, in case anything opens up in the future, this being where it started, it obviously spread. The whole idea for me ultimately is being a temporary piece that would go up north. It would actually be installed in other places. So the only reason I want you to know is the citizens and people who've also been through this. We all have friends, people we're connected to who heard through this. As time moves forward, please, if you have a chance to let Lucas Marquez know or reach out to me personally, having a way of knowing where it should go, who has space for it, who wants it, will be part of the conversation that goes for the future. So obviously landing in Mora or moving up north into smaller communities, the watersheds that were hurt, places like that where it could go to and sit at least for a week or even for a few days, I would like to see it do that. And ultimately, that's how it will do its work. And that's where it's most important, not ownership, but it's work. I just kind of wanted to say that while I have you guys here. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes. You need to hold me. This is my business card, okay?
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
Thank you, Matt Martinez. Appreciate you guys.
Do you have any?
How heavy is this?
I do. Is
How
that,
heavy is it?
the weight should be around 500 to 600 pounds total.
So who's gonna move it?
It breaks apart into pieces.
Okay.
I'm gonna be moving it. The
And
first
putting it back
installation
together.
and putting it back together. And I, obviously doing that, I have to know how, and I'm building that in the process. And I've done it before. It's partially why I'm showing this for it work. So it'll be able to travel up in the pieces that it's built already to the square and in pickup truck. But luckily I have connections down with the cherry picker I'll need to kind of detail it once it's up. So, Mr.
All
Chair.
right, we've got, Las Vegas Citizens Community for Historic Preservation, Places of the Past, Heritage Week, Holiday Home Tour.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to make sure that if you know that this is a phone call in, there was an emergency surgery that she had to go through. so she can do a phone, conference, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
This person that would normally be here.
Her name is Loretta. But there was a surgery in her family that she had to be at, and she cannot make it to the meeting, but she wants to be here via telephone, if that is okay, and approved by the board.
Okay.
Loretta, for Chuck, I'll put you on speaker.
Okay.
Hello, Loretta.
Hi.
You're on speakerphone, and tell us about Heritage Week and the events. I know it's been a little bit because of what's been happening, but I guess give everyone a refresher on
Yeah,
Heritage
sure.
Week.
So, yes, Heritage Week, they did not have it for a few years, like you said, just due to, like everybody else, fires and COVID. And so I came on board last year, and we did do Heritage Week last year. And what that is we're in collaboration with other entities within our community, within Las Vegas. And we put together a whole week of activities, whether it be one thing a day or two things a day. And we like to do it earlier in August. This way we catch those students that are still out on summer vacation.
Okay. And so you're asking for 6,583?
Correct. Now, the reason for that is because I know last year I asked for 5,003. But things have gone up again, unfortunately. So
Okay.
I think that's the whole reason why it did increase again.
But on the amounts that you have already received quotes for SDC and the Santa Fe New Mexican?
I have for Santa Fe, yes.
Okay.
The only one I have not received a quote for is Northgate Printing. And it would be for their design work. That's the only thing I have not received.
Okay. And so where, when we're handing out these brochures, where are they being handed out?
So I hand them out within throughout all of Las Vegas. I do have some board members from Mora, so they go out to Mora. And then I also distribute them to like the visitor center. I'll deliver them over to National Park Services, Fort Union, all of those. And I'm an interpretive center for Santa Fe Trail. And I get quite a bit of people in my business to where I kind of tell them, even if it's not coming up or even if my event has already passed, I still mention that. And I'll give them, even if it's an expired flyer, I'll still give them something. This way they kind of have an idea. But I do also refer them to my website.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for those brochure registers, I mean, we, for the, purposes of the largest tax dollars, we want those brochures to go outside, preferably so they can, so it's true, the event is marketed,
Yeah.
looking outside.
What I will be doing this year is I want to print them and have them earlier for the fact that we have the Association of Counties in June. And they've asked me if I want to give anything for the welcome packets. So I definitely want to have that done and printed and ready to go in their bags, things of that sort, so we can hopefully pick up some more visitors that way as well.
And maybe some of them can take it to their respective
Correct.
counties so people can see it in other counties
Yes.
outside of.
Yes, what I want to do is I actually want to have a table set up
at the Association of Counties. And that way they can come talk to me about anything. Maybe there's an opportunity out there that I'm missing, whether it be for, you know, my entity or for somebody else within the community. Cause I know I have a lot of people that do ask me, hey, do you know of a grant for this? Do you know of a grant for that? Or, you know, so I kind of refer people to a lot of things, not just CCHP.
Okay. So on the ad buys and so on, because we've listed all three together, so this would be advertising both Plays with the, I mean, all three, Plays with the Past, Heritage Week, and Holiday Home Tour. So we'd all be in that for sure.
So then it would be August would be the Places with the Past tour and Heritage Week, and then in December is Holiday Home Tour.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion on this event on the board?
So how many years have you been doing this now?
This will be my second year.
No, how many years has this?
Oh, CCHP. So this was their 31st annual year of for Heritage Week and Places with the Past.
So they've been coming to us for 30-some years for funding?
I don't know of all 31 years, but I know for a good amount. For the past, I'd say maybe 9 years, 6 years.
It is above the 5,000, but it's 3 events. So I think we could award it because they go apply for 3 different events, but we could do a motion.
Oh, okay. Now, let me ask you, is there a better way for me to do any of that, or do you prefer me to do 3 events? Because this.
Well, it's pretty broad because I think you did the start date as August. And then in the past, what we've done with this is because say like music at the park and so on, it's spanned seasons. And so that's kind of what we did it for each season. And so what you have in your application is starting from August to December. Is that correct?
Okay, so then I should apply for, in August, I should apply for one in December?
Right. I mean, we can market each one of these individual things. I mean, even for now, you could apply for it and market it. But I mean, look, if you can market all 3 with the said dollars, that's fine too. Our intention when we actually get to it and everybody applies correctly and has contracts in place is that we would look at the criteria, or we want to increase monies next year. But at this point, we're just providing marketing system. I mean, we haven't done this event in 2 years. I think it's been around for some time. In the future, if we can increase turnout and improve the events, yeah, I mean, you could apply for it. It's certainly over 3 separate events at different times. I think we can market each one as a different event.
Okay.
I have something to say.
Yes.
Several years ago, I was asked to let people come to my home because I was in the process of restoring an old house. And there were probably 300 or 400 people that came. It was an amazing event. And I highly recommend that we support them.
My home has been on that tour also.
Well, you would agree with me.
No,
So
but anyway.
So it is 3. So I mean, if I could, I'll entertain a motion to approve, for the amount, above 5,000 because it is multiple events, so it's eligible for.
So that means they're not gonna come back for the same thing in December, asking us to fund them for,
They certainly would have to provide proof of what they would do.
because she's asking us for all 3 of those events. It's a done deal. We approve it. They cannot come back and ask for more funding on those events if they specifically ask.
I mean,
for
we're not saying that if they have additional marketing they'd like to do, and if it's 3 events, we have to decide whether that's
They're
order.
they're asking us for the 3 here, and that's what we're gonna approve.
Right now, yeah.
So
There's a
they-
second window in
A second window,
August.
which means do they come back for the same?
Not something that's already passed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
But something going forward, if they have a plan
yeah.
and invoice and, you know, this is the first application where I've asked,
Yeah.
do you have something in place? Did you request a quote? And she was able to see it for 2 out of the 4 items.
Okay.
So this is where we're at, folks, on where we would like to be applying more and more funds year after year if the events come in, professionally, if they're ready to go. At this point, we have money to offer. We're gonna offer because it's in goodwill. At some point, as a board, we're gonna have to decide where we draw our lines. Right now, it's not complex. It's gonna get complex when we don't have the type of money to give out, where we'll have to make decisions between one group or another group and so on. So for this, like I said, it's between three separate events. I'm giving the rationale for going over the $5,000, which is more than one event. If there's more marketing to be had and they come back and that opportunity arises for the second window, they can apply. That's why we put these windows for it. So there's different time periods that they can come and apply with for assistance. I wouldn't say that we would say no to it. At that time, I think we'd have to address it if it's a proper application.
Somebody else.
Oh, right, sorry. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
still here. Thank you.
Okay.
I understood all of it. I heard all of it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that, we approve the $6,583.78 to Las Vegas Citizens Committee for Historic Preservation for the 3 events.
I second.
Roll call, Mr. Matt Martinez,
Abstain.
Alex Strader,
Yes.
Oliver Esperance,
Yes.
Georgina Ortega Angel.
No,
We have 2 yeses and one no, 1 abstain, sir. Motion passes.
All right. Let me just, for minutes and for notes, again, the discussion was,
Hold on.
it's above, we're approving it for that amount because it's for multiple events as council asks.
Let the record show. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So moving on to City of Las Vegas 4th of July fiestas.
Those PD cards.
Chuck, all these ones were typed out and yours is handwritten.
I saw that too.
No, I.
All right, let's have it.
Well, Fiesta's the same as every year. We're trying to get, I'd like to promote it with the radio stations that are listed, media, the internet, social media, of course. We've been going on for this will be the 136th year. We're kind of,
Oh, those first 5.
I don't have a requested amount.
yeah,
It goes in the second page, sir.
second page,
Committee of Review.
it's 114,000. We've got it down there on that second.
Well, that's
page.
the total for the description of your total events. Which part of this event do you want Rogers Tax to pay for?
All of it.
Okay. So,
larger tax, well, so my understanding from mayor and council is the 4 events, Fiesta, Bike Rally, 2 other events. Salute to the troops on one other event are, they go above the.
so the stage we talked about in the past. Now, if we had an application for infrastructure for upgrading the stage, we talked about this before. There was a project that you were saying you were tasked with when we had the meeting. What was it, 3 months
3
ago?
months ago with the
That you
brakes.
had Lodgers tax projects that we can work on. I didn't think we were gonna throw it into July, the fiesta, so we have a mismatch here of infrastructure in this one application and marketing. assistance.
I didn't know about that conversation.
But we never talked about a stage that we're gonna be repairing it. I think the three that you guys approved was,
So this isn't about the gazebo at all? This is just to set the stage?
This is the rental of that stage that you guys have been using?
Okay, so it's not a permanent installation?
No, it's rental.
Okay. So these are expenses incurred by the city. What lodgers tax can do, right? So if you're advertising, so you're advertising in Albuquerque and all these radio stations, I'm assuming that they're outside of town and so on.
Well, the radius is outside.
Right. And hopefully, you know, because we were talking about bands and so on, was saying how much music there would be out there in those said advertisements to come to Las Vegas. But some of these things, I'm just surprised they're added in the list. They don't belong to lodgers tax. So septic stage, if we go look at the ordinance on what can be in the after marketing, okay, after marketing assistance, I mean, it's pretty clear enough. We must spend this much on marketing assistance. And then what's left over, this is what we could spend on. And what you see is there is areas where we would pay for PD or for fire department and some of that assistance to help. I don't specifically see septic in there or stage or so on. That's not the guise of. So I know we've helped in the past before with lodgers tax, but primarily when I've seen it in our budgets and so on, where lodgers tax has been applied, we've helped out more along the lines of fire and PD on the day of the event. That's what I've seen. I haven't seen all these other asks. So I don't think that's within our purview. And I'm wanting this for you guys to, before you throw it onto the application, already know
to
that.
filter.
Right. I mean, go look at the budgets, go look at the past things, have you
Yes.
have these in there?
Okay.
As lodgers tax paid for it. Look, if it was the gazebo and the things that we were talking about before, the long-standing tourism infrastructure, things that we can help with, those projects along those lines, or was it like we were having issues or with
With the bricks.
the bricks,
Yep.
anything that can improve our tourism infrastructure, yeah, I believe that's fair game. But it's just like everything else. We're not, this is a city turned event. We're not helping to run the event. We're helping, we help to promote the event. So basically what we can help with is what we've done in the past. Do we have anything concrete for the radio stations and so on? I think we've done a little bit more, right? Sometimes we had stuff in magazines and so on. What's the 64,000 amount for?
I'm hitting them.
You have here, entertainment.
I'm gonna guess that's a band.
Yeah,
Entertainment.
that's entertainment. We went over it on last time period, I believe. And I mean, it's even less detail, but we're paying the entertainment for it. Again, we could promote the heck out of the event, and that's the draw.
My feeling is that I understand that it's primarily for advertising and to draw. But with a lot of these bands, because of these bands are performing, we're getting the people from Arizona, we're getting them from Nevada, we're getting them from outside from Colorado and Texas. So, I mean, if you look at it in that aspect, it is a draw. And it is advertising for Las Vegas because they are coming for those bands.
Say you're the friend of that band member that we're paying directly, and you say, hey, get in on this. Would that benefit him personally?
Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying that they are themselves, per se, the draw.
Yeah. It gets into, so we've never, any claim that we can promote the event in general for Las Vegas. We've got to come up with creative ways to say that, hey, and that's, we discussed this on the last meeting. How do we become that powerhouse where, and I'm using the biggest event in the world, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl entertainer doesn't get paid as well. They say it all over and over again, but they do it because of the draw. So somehow we have to figure out and promote that because they're not seeing it. These band members aren't seeing, well, you're not paying us, I don't want to come, because they're not seeing additional, maybe they're not getting the numbers. I mean, we've got the thousands of people there. So how are they not seeing? They're only seeing the dollars to come entertain when they can come entertain any other place else. But we should have the premier fiestas in the area. So the original draw was so many people were going to be here. And so in the past, they put CDs out, and maybe that's become out thing, but maybe we provide a bit of an avenue to promote themselves afterwards outside of here. We have to come up with creative reasons how we can use lodgers. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be using it, but we need to use it in the correct way that it's formed. It's just like us trying to use general fund dollars for purposes that are not city related. These dollars are meant for a reason. There's framework set aside for a reason. If we come up with a fantastic way to continue at this point, the only thing that we're growing during fiesta times, right? Because we could just discount we haven't really gone through those and the other things as heads and beds. Hotels are full 100%. The only improvement that we would have is, as an entity, is having even more set events, even more people to eat in our restaurants, to whether it's Dairy Queen or so on, and increase dollars and so on for this event. But throwing, it's what it is. If we can provide some effort to figure out how we can do this in another way, what
Can
I'm
we
not.
call it something else other than entertainment?
Well, it's not. It's what I'm not seeing.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the detail that you provided here, Chuck. Is there was so many different avenues, right? Say we awarded you this whole amount of money. It could have been the Clear Channel campaign. It could have been just like how we're doing it for Fiestas. There could be more effort involved. Instead, we're just saying, well, I'll pay the event. But if you gave us like this whole list of, let's continue to market, and maybe it focused it on other areas of our event, and it pushes more for our restaurants and so on and stuff. But it's, again, the money would be towards actually promoting fiestas, right? In here, the application itself, the majority of it is you're telling us that we were wanting to pay the event, and that's not what it's for. I can't wiggle my way around it. The first half of the application, the majority of the money is not marketing assistance. It's paying for the fiestas.
Fiesta is in and of itself, the Fiesta is marketing the community. The lodgers tax that comes in on it and the GRT that we get from the Fiestas, it's all about marketing the city. The whole concept of Fiesta is to bring business to the economy, to Las Vegas, to sustain the bottom dollar for the municipality.
Does anybody else contribute?
No,
Just lodgers tax?
just the city.
And the issue isn't the amount we could contribute. That is, see, that's the whole point. This is a highly, and we would have to do the same with, say, if the motorcycle rally returned, they would have the same point, right? If it fits the events, but it would be the same thing. We can't pay them to have the event. So for this, the excuse isn't, hey, is this the event grand? The problem with this application in general is that we're not marketing it enough. Other than the radio stations, where are we marketing the fiestas?
The Fiesta itself, though, I mean, for 136 years, this event has been happening in the city of Las Vegas. So we need the dollars that are in the community right now do me no good, because those are already in Las Vegas. I need to bring outside money into the community.
Exactly. So what are we using to do that?
So we're using the media, and then the fact that the event is happening. So people come because of the entertainment. There's a reason that they don't go to Taos and to Santa Fe. That we triple the number of people that they do, because they come here specifically for that entertainment, for those bands that we get.
That's why I was, Chair, I was asking, is there another way of saying entertainment? Because you're absolutely right about people coming for those people that are who are gonna be headlining it. There's gotta be another word that we can use besides entertainment.
We,
Because it is the draw.
And that's the
That
reason
is the
I
draw.
put it like that, because in past, you say break it down to be specific. Well, specific, can't get more specific, but that is the entertainment. That is the draw. I mean, if you want to call it, Fiesta Classics, if you want, I mean, you could play on the name however you want, but the Fiesta in and of itself is the advertising.
there's no specifics on who you're paying, which band you're paying, so on.
I didn't want to put that because then we
You
would be.
can't, right, and that's where you run into the problems, you're gonna run into that when you go in for procurement, you're gonna, so, I mean, that's a whole can of worms that you're opening up there.
So my thought
that
was,
we
if
never
Rogers
heard.
Tech supports the Fiesta in running the Fiesta, because it isn't like, it's a different animal altogether. CCHP or places with the past.
I think for this, because it's well beyond the scope, I mean, Lucas, we can come back to this. So you can get organized as community development, say, look, this is what large tax would pay for. Look at your budget, look at what we need to do that we've already put for large tax for PD and so on. If we can help out for other avenues for Corval, other avenues that we can use to correct large tax for, okay, if we have some savings, then apply it towards the band. But we need to, I think this needs to be done at a city level. For it, and it goes by the ordinance, so we're not even dealing with it. And then we could certainly approve. I wish there's a plan, because this is coming from the city, right? So we're expecting a higher level. So let's figure out how to get this stuff that's not able to pay for. Let's look at our budgets, because maybe we're not providing enough backup for this said big event. Maybe enough larger stocks dollars for PD and fire department is not being used correctly. So that does affect budgets. So if we can do that, maybe that will leave room for the bands and so on. Now, what we can do is approve the actual marketing request for it. I see 3,500, I see 11,000, I see 4,000. What I'm asking is if we can have, especially because it's coming from the city, a more dynamic range of what we can do. In the past, we've seen more. I know it's the event itself, but we can market better, right? More than the radio station. I mean, it's our biggest event of the year. So, okay, if we're sending, if it's not, why are we spending this much inordinate amount of money on the radio stations? The 11,000, 3,500, or 4,000.
Because those radio stations have proven the radius, their reach.
Sure. So, hey, I mean, if you turn to us and say Clear Channel and any of this, if we can look at the numbers, these are the things, and we could award more. So to me, I think we could award these items. You are the city, so I'm hoping you have the bids and everything in, and we could go forward from there. But since this is Fiestas, I think this can be entertained, at a different time if there is something. But see, that's an internal. That's not, to me, approval by us for some of those things are for PD and fire. I believe those things can be put in and done in the past, right? But as a board, I've never approved things that are not applicable to large tax. Okay, does anybody have any other discussion?
I've got a question. Where did the money, this is the first year you've come to Logitech for the entertainment stuff, is that correct? Or
Since I've been in construction.
Yeah. Where did it come from before the city?
From their general.
Why
fund.
There's
why
been a change. Yeah.
why the shift? Is my question as
above
to
my
Logitech. What's that?
It's above my pay grade.
Okay, so I mean, for any that we could do our job and approve what's there, 18.5.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion, and it's clearly what it looks like is the three radio station entities there. I'll entertain a motion to approve for those amounts. Because that's what we can address here. No second?
Nobody needs to move. We gotta make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, entertain the motion to approve the marketing assistance for Fiestas.
I make a motion that we approve just for the marketing that we discussed which comes out to 18.5. Would, if the,
Yeah, but
yeah, it's-
Yeah, I know, I trust you. Yeah, it's 18.5.
I'm hoping.
Or 18, yeah. All right, second,
I second.
all right, roll call.
Okay, roll call, Georgina Ortega Angel,
Yes.
Oliver Esperance.
Yes.
Alan Estrada,
Yes.
Mr. Matt Martinez,
Abstain.
All right,
we have a three yeses, sir, one abstain, motion.
Motion passes.
$18,000, 18,500, right?
Yes.
18.5 for all the,
Yes.
and again, if there was, it is our big event in the future. My hope is, especially if it's coming from within, just let's, hey, it's the one event that is churning out the things. We should be marketing it, the best we can. To me, again, we're not solving, I think we should be doing our darndest to be advertising events so we can show these band members to show up, because look, these guys had to overflow into Santa Fe or Raton or someone, the sheer amount of people in the area, that should be the event. Us filming it having hits, they're getting internet. So I don't think they're seeing the value. So maybe we're not providing those venues. Maybe if there's structure or whatever, or the filming or whatever that we could promote to promote said event so they get those eyeballs, that's something too. But I'm just asking for better ideas. The money's there. Let's just get better ideas that we can properly use lodgers tax monies for, right?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What was always granted in the past? Was $18,500 granted in the past for marketing, or was it always something different? I mean, because
We're because this is the city itself, what we've done, we have awarded more than the amount. This is above the 5,000 amount, but in the past, some of this was already set aside in the budget. But in the past, we've had it more fleshed out a little bit. We've had a plan. We've had, things. They provided detail. It was in magazines, it was in other stuff. So it's our biggest event.
what hurt this application was that there was no backup to the application itself.
There's no backup. There's no broad spectrum. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't give more money to this event and recommend it to council. It's our biggest event. But what's hurting it is that it's, some of the applications is we don't have a broad spectrum of where it's going. It's all these radio stations. We're not doing anything particularly new. We're spending time trying to explain stuff that we can't fund when more time should be spent on figuring out how we could better market it so bands would come.
So as in speaking, since we've been able in the past to raise these prices from 18,500 is a minor amount compared to what's going to be expended by the city of Las Vegas to be able to put beds and heads in any hotel. So everybody's going to benefit off of this 18,500 except the city. So I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say what you guys can't fund, or what you don't want to fund. But the thing is, at the end of the day, the city has this event to make it big, to make sure that there's people eating here and there's people sleeping in hotel rooms. So if you're going to shortchange the city, how's that going to shortchange everybody else that's going to be on there? You know what I mean? I want to make sure everybody.
No, and that's exactly what I'm saying. If you put a bigger amount in here, then we're awarding everything that we can award for advertising in here. But everything else is not the purview of lodgers tax.
Gotcha.
So if you had a bigger package, and
So if we're going to ask for more than the 18.5 on the marketing side.
considering how big the event
I
is,
see what you're saying.
but you
I see
asked
what
for,
you're
the only thing in this item, and that's what's disappointing, is that because you asked for stuff that we're wasting time on, what we should be talking about is how better are we advertising Fiestas this year? What packages, what
Gotcha.
TV, what internet, what stuff, and then we could tell all of our band guys, look at this. Because that, you know what? It's done to us. Why are we buying such a big package for the Balloon Fiestas? Well, they advertised it to us. They gave us a reason of why it's so important for us to be at Balloon Fiestas.
Gotcha.
We need to tell everyone else why it's so important to these bands to be, and that's your answer. In the city of Las Vegas, it's the biggest event at that time period, our biggest fiesta is planning whatever, going for the amount of years that it's been going, done. That's what we should be talking about.
Thank you, Chair, for that clarification.
Right, and but, so we continue to talk about the other stuff, and we need to come up with new ideas on how we're marketing this, this event.
Thank you, Chair.
And
Would it be open for a special meeting to
that's what I'm saying, we could entertain this, if you come up with a better plan,
present or?
Fiestas is our event. If, this is something that we could re-entertain, but I also said there is within the city purview, if you look at budgets, what are we doing, what, because in the past, from years past, I remember this is the hard part. Even if you take the total lodgers tax monies, dollars earned, we're losing. The city loads on it because of the expenses incurred by running the event. Right? It is. We just take out what we'll still put money towards it.
Got you.
We lose money at
Can
PD.
we
we lose
withhold,
money on.
can we hold the
So
vote and
can we table that then and then come back to you guys?
Well, we can approve the, if you're gonna continue to, I'm assuming that you got these bids for the radio stations. So we were already seconded. Yeah, we were doing roll call.
That's already roll call.
It's already roll call. It's approved. You're already approved for the radio stations. If you come back with a
More.
bigger, better plan, then I would say we'd address it. I think
So then we could just let this go forward is what you're saying, and then.
it's already approved. The portion that we could approve, we've approved.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
I'm, as a general statement, I'm just wanting more effort. Again, we're wasting our effort because we're trying to shove things that we can't pay for instead of saying, look, we have this much money. How do we use this amount of money for things that we can pay for?
I see. Now you made it.
This whole meeting as a, yeah.
I understand. I was confused in the fact that if we're gonna shortchange the biggest event in our.
I don't want to
We're gonna
I want
shortchange everybody else, and
for the percentage, I would as much as I can. So shoot us the best campaign that you can, and so we can review. It's nothing. I mean, right now we have the funds. I made the board will again at some point in time. The board's gonna be like, we don't have money, and at that time we're gonna say we don't want to shortchange it. We just don't have the money.
Yes, sir.
But at this point, we're spending more resources talking about what we can't pay for instead of saying,
Understood.
let's have a major campaign.
Well, if all the events are successful, we will put the money.
This next one that's coming up, sir, I have a correction to be made, if I could present that real quick.
Okay.
So the next one coming up would be for City of Las Vegas Music in the Park. This is one that I went over at the end. I kind of stopped it because the asking price was 11,500, but that was strictly for bands. I remember talking to Krutik about this and to the board in regards to bands, and bands were not allowed to be paid for music in the park. I remember that specifically because I had to pay for it out of my budget last year, and I asked that question at one of the meetings. So I have Chuck remove that. We entered a different cover sheet. I had already taken out your packets, so I didn't get a chance to give it back to you guys.
Okay.
The actual amount that's being asked for is $16,000, and that'll be for radio advertisement for music in the park. That runs from May 3rd to September 27th, sir, every Friday.
2 fiscal years.
So this is spread over time. I think is it similar to before? Is that where multiple
It's 2.
seasons?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could call it multiple events.
Yes, sir.
For it. Groundhog Day. It's fine for the radio station and so on. Again, it seems like the city is taking over this, but even before it was a city event. Let's get more creative on the advice.
Okay.
I think everyone has seen it as a theme, right? We haven't grown out of radio, and I'm not saying radio is bad. We're not marketing anywhere else. In all of these applications, there is no other creativity. So maybe we can take a lead as a city, and I know we've done it before, and we've done it in packages for Fiesta. We've done it in other stuff. So music at the park, other than radio stations, we could probably do some more stuff.
I recall we used to do it at the airport. We used to do advertising at the airport back then. So.
Anything, let's get creative so we have a bigger spread. Hold on, I think we've nailed the radio station market. I think that's clear.
Okay.
If we can have more creative space or even something cohesive connecting with radio that they can refer to. So say it's radio and they're making an announcement. Well, hey, they're referring to said advertisement or said thing, in something, some connecting, other connecting marketing.
Yes, sir.
But right now, I'm just gonna be blunt, because it's easy, everyone's doing radio. It's easy to get the ad, it's very, hey, that's the answer is radio, it's getting crews. But we're not getting any other answers, because radio so far is easiest. We did it last year, we did it again, and we're not making any more effort to do anything else. But guess what? There are packages, we've done this in the past, they're provided by the state. That helps us, and maybe we can get matching funds, to market these events better. So bottom line, I'm expecting more from our in-house applications, a
Okay.
lot more. Right?
Yeah, and then we do have something, I mean, right now it's still in its infancy, but we have been talking to, local.
And maybe we separate this out from these type of applications, because it is,
Yeah.
when it's city versus, marketing is being applied by the public. I think we need to have different criteria, so we're not getting, so mixed up. So maybe this needs to be applied differently, you present it outside of this scope. We're looking for the same things, the largest text need to be presented properly, but because of the dollars and so on, this is more of a city sanctioned event, especially if it's coming from within. So maybe this is outside of when we're deciding applications. Because we're marketing for PS's year
I'm
round.
not
So
mistaken, this is just radio, right? It's to do with the TV as well.
No, because we haven't finalized.
Okay, so we do have some things up and some,
in the past, yeah, I mean,
we
it's-
have, we
so
have,
let's-
we have some stuff cooking and for brewing.
yeah,
We just, we can't speak on it yet because it hasn't been finalized.
okay, and when it is, I mean, bring it forth and that, fun. I think that it is one thing because it is Fiestas and the past and the way we budgeted it, it could be outside of these timelines. Do I think that it should be within it and we should be marketing it earlier? Yes, but I'm just trying to be fair with everyone else. This is what I'm asking for, and it's frustrating for everyone else, is that I'm asking the city to be the example and have all these applications, everything, just like we're asking the public to be detailed. Let's have the homework in place. And then it's very easy to approve. I know we've had that in the past. I don't see why we can't do it again and do it again.
Are you open for a motion on the radio advertising?
Music, okay.
Music in the
Yeah,
Park?
well, I entertain a motion to approve the video advertising for Music in the Park.
I'd like to move that we approve $16,000 for radio advertisement for Music in the Park. That's set forth and discussed. Sounds good.
Citing that it is multiple events.
I'll second that.
Exactly. That's what the discussion.
Roll call?
Alan Stratter,
Yes.
Oliver Lesperance.
Yes.
Georgina Ortega Angel,
Yes,
Mr. Matt Martinez.
Again, I'll abstain.
Sir, we have 3 yeses, 1 abstain, and motion passes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I just revisit the, I know it's out of order, so forgive me. But for the fiestas and the entertainment, what if we required our entertainment to market their presence in Las Vegas? We do. Therefore, they are it is a marketing, it is marketing money spent. If I understand that, but the way, I'm just throwing an idea out there as to how to, it is a
that's what I'm saying,
marketing.
it was written.
If it was magic, if they're required to market it in their own social, even just social media.
So that would even work for Music in the Park too, then.
But we should be,
My personal
we should be
idea.
promoting it, but see,
That is a good idea.
we're in 2024, right? So how all these influencers are getting their money is with survival. So what as our city for our event, we're not using our assets the best we can, right? I would probably use the Balloon Fiesta and so on as better examples of what we can
They're
do.
different animals.
But instead of paying him directly, if we figure out another way to assist the event, and they understand that this is more eyeballs to them, those are individual customers providing them with the money. The city of Las Vegas in lodgers tax isn't providing dollars to that individual, they're getting the benefit of having more eyeballs for them for having this concert with us. I'm gonna stick with that. That's the cleanest way that the city would be resolved, is because, again, I mean, as far as selection of entertainment and so on goes on contracts and all the above, that criteria of handing it to an individual person is exactly why we've never done it. And I think we're taking that, again, we're taking our eyeball off of the ideas. We've done no work for any other idea on how to do this. All we keep talking about is we can't figure bands. We haven't figured out any other venue of, hey, how do these bands see that there's this many people here? Meanwhile, all these other events that we're paying, we're coming up with unbelievable gifts to now. They're making the efforts to say, hey, how do we use the fact that this millions of people are here to our advantage? That's all I'm asking. I think that's a fair question to ask. The city pays for it. For lodgers tax, we should be figuring out how to promote the event better than we have. That's our job.
Okay.
There we have Balloon Fiesta.
Yes, sir.
So this is the third year that we've been with Balloon Fiesta. The first year we sponsored the Skydivers, and last year we sponsored the Lobitos. We're doing that again this year with the change that we are increasing our square footage on the tents that we use, and we're also going to be advertising in the actual park and the launching field, and we're going to be advertising around the whole space on the fence line. We increased the time that we are on the Jumbotron, so our name will be on that as well. We're going to be advertising on the trading cards and Fiesta pins, which are like extremely collectible. It's like you have to fight, they'll fight you for those pins.
And they give us the real, like, unique ones. They're 3 balloons, and then we'll get like the partial in the front. Also,
Do we have any idea how this event and our money spent on it has profited Las Vegas?
Yes, last year we had, so in the first year when I was involved, we had tour buses that were taking people to the Balloon Fiesta. So they stopped at our tent, and then Councilman Romero was with me, and the tour company, they had 2 buses. They said, is there anything in Las Vegas for us to go see? So we gave them information. They came to Las Vegas. Elias, who was just here earlier, welcomed them when they got to the visitor center, and they spent time here. This last year, the tour companies actually made Las Vegas their first stop, and then they continued to the Balloon Fiesta. So it's proven. This last year we had approximately 1 million people see our advertising on the Jumbotron. So the buy time, you can't compare it.
So they give you the numbers. So this is the point in time, right? So you say, hey, this is a time where with the packet and everything, you provide us with the details of how last year went. This is how we advertise. This is what we're doing. This is the impact. So when you have a question like that, we have answers. We know what we improved last year. How'd that go? The city is now reapplying same thing. It's just frustrating for me today. Whenever we're doing this, this should be easy, right? So there was last year where we got something too late and we didn't get the package early enough. But this year we should be prepped and ready to go.
I only got the contract information from them yesterday. So
right. So we're hopefully we're not too. There was a specific one that we liked where we got the whole booth.
Yeah, we did.
We were able to.
We got a bigger booth.
Okay, so this 16,000 is within that. What we wanted as far as the package or the contract.
So 30,000. Right.
Well, no, he's talking about the sponsorship.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sponsorship.
That's just for the Globitos.
Yeah, we're sponsoring.
So that's for Globitos.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the little balloons.
So yeah, so just, I mean, when you come in the past, because it has been presented to us with some detail, just come in and say, hey, these are for this, so that, again, on the application itself, it says provide details of the product. So that's what I'm expecting if we are handing out bigger amounts, larger amounts. People are gonna have questions on that, like they deal with your council with the details. With it, that's the whole point. And when it gets to them, you know, that's gonna be the questions too. So, in the past, it's been provided as a package from Fiesta itself. And that's what I'm saying. Did they provide that full package?
Yes.
Again, and is that,
No, we just got it, we got it yesterday.
And then we were in meeting all day this morning, so.
okay,
I have a
so,
question.
entertain discussion, yeah.
How can we apply what they're doing at the Balloon Fiesta to our Fiesta as far as the marketing goes? So we can give you the money that you're asking for. You know, what they're doing there, because just those few questions that they asked you, you told us. The tour buses came here, brought people over here. 1 million people saw us up there. How can we apply that here?
QR code. QR code.
So when we have that other meeting, just in the future, that's what we want to see.
It's just gonna require more time, and I'll put more time into that.
Yeah, and some of it's already done.
If I could answer that.
Go ahead.
Miss Georgina, basically what we did last year, and again, apologize, it was last minute. We did do a QR code, you know, so people to register for hotel rooms.
There you go.
Mr. Bacta did that. We got some numbers, but unfortunately, a lot of those numbers were sent to previous city managers. So we're trying to get that information. I know we had glitches with the QR code where at the beginning, like the first day went really well. The second, you know, and the reason why I'm here is because I was volunteering, you know, on weekends when I don't have nothing, I have other things to do, but you know, I know it's hard to pay staff or to get staff to there, you know, to be there. So I volunteer my time. But what we did is I think we got about 2,000 people sign up that we were able to account for. There was times that the sun was hitting, we put it on a banner. So when they were scanning it, the sun was hitting, it wasn't picking up. So then we printed out some other ones and then the QR code went down. But that's all with the, you know, I hate to say this, but 7505 on their part, you know, that the system went down like 2 or 3 times. And those 2 or 3 times were the times that was, you know, weekends are always the busiest. And unfortunately, those were the times that it went down. So our numbers aren't accurate, but we have a good start, you know, now, you know, with everything being on time, me being in the position I'm in and kind of the direction, you know, that mayor and council want is we want more accurate numbers, right? Well, of course, everybody's not going to sign up. They want to actually just spin a wheel, right? So what we've done, you know, we've done the spin it before. We were just giving the stuff out. Now we're like, you know what? You want to spin the wheel, scan the QR code, get information, go to the website. So we did that, but you know, with the numbers that we got and whatever we have, I know that there's that, you know, ways for this city manager to get involved because all that's April. So we're trying to get the numbers that we do have. We did get, we had Mr. Krutik. We had 4 places that gave hotel rooms for the weekend. We gave all of them except for 1. We could get you all that information, but you know, that's data that I'm totally in agreement with you is what does it benefit us? I know in speaking with some of the restaurant people and even the hotels, they've told me that, well, one of them specifically said, I don't know what happened like last October. He said, we were packed. And I said, well, what weekend was? Just out of curiosity. And this, they brought on their own. Well, it was during the weekend of Balloon Fiestas. So, you know, we know that it's there, you know, there's a lot of ideas that we can come up with, you know, and we have more time now, right? Before, you know, I've been a big pusher of this because I know the amount of people that, you know, go there and they're people that we want. We want people to come over here, spend money, and then go home, right? I mean, I hate to say that, but that's what Rogers tax and all that's part of. But, you know, the whole intent is try to document as many people as are we getting our money? Are we getting our money's worth?
Oh, yeah.
Right? We're not just going
And we're at the stage, I mean, we're not even at the advanced level of the nitty-gritty. The things that we're just asking for is the meat of it, is the basis of it. So a lot of the advertising that we had in the packages for Balloon Fiestas, because not just the city of Las Vegas is asking, every city is asking, what's our return? They're trying to figure out the same way. But the media companies that are presenting some of this stuff, they know too, that we're asking these kids, how do we know this is working?
So the other part
So
that,
they-
in speaking with Stephanie and I forget the other lady's name. Well, Stephanie's the main one. Is she, now that we're ahead of the curve, she suggested that we speak with our hotel people, our restaurants, and see if we could put like a web page, and of course, they can market it on their Balloon Fiesta stuff, but they could like tag it. So,
Yes.
so the hotel, because when people are looking for, they already said, like Santa Fe and Albuquerque, they're booked. They said, you guys have, I mean, of course, we're already noticing that people are booking during that time of year. But they said, you're only an hour and a half away. Like, you guys could, talk to the hotels. They could put, special Balloon Fiesta rate, stuff like that.
Right, and so that's what, and it could tie to 505. And so when we work towards that, what the other cities have done is have that hotel window, right? That hotel window generates, they're not pointing to any one hotel, you're just showing all the hotels, you're showing all the restaurants, but because they click through, we can see, the hotels can see that this came from, and not just hotel, this came from here. So we have, that's actual lodgers tax dollars. We know they made a reservation through here. It's getting even more events where we can drag it down to the restaurant too, if they made restaurant reservations. But the things that have worked, we're able to provide numbers. If you wanted direct lodgers tax dollars, we know that this many, if it goes through a window like that, this many reservations were made for heads and beds.
So
So
the RVers, we missed out on last year on putting packets together, putting information. We missed out on that previously, that, us being on top of this year, that we'll be able to, I think staff kind of knows, Chuck and, they know what we could use, what we could put in, and what's gonna get people here, and try to, if we get coupons from restaurants, right? When they take those coupons to the restaurants, then the restaurants could, for instance, okay, well, we got 70 or 100 people from the Balloon Fiesta, you know what I mean? And those are ways that I think that we're looking at on how to account for all this.
and again, if it starts with somewhere, whether we use our website 505, or, the biggest things is our phones. So if we figure out a way to use our phones when we're at said restaurant, those things are established. So if we come up and we talk about different geofencing technologies and those things that you had brought up in the past, those are the things that we need to keep building on along with it. Some of it we're not gonna have the information. All we know is that there's this many people, and we could take that too, that this many eyeballs were on it. That's what some of the media is saying. Did they actually come to Las Vegas? No, but we know that we got this kind of exposure. But bring those numbers so we can reestablish it every year that, hey, just like we did in prior year, I was like, last year we did this thing with that. This was this many eyeballs, and that's how we've justified it as well. We couldn't translate it to did they come to Las Vegas, but we translated to we know that this got this much exposure. For some of the stuff for marketing, if we don't even have that, we don't even know how many people are watching, then that becomes questionable. We should at least get halfway and say, okay, we know how many people watched. We don't know how many people got here. And the other half of figuring out how they got here, well, that's the other half we do with all the rest. But if we do at least part of the effort, I think that's all that could be asked.
So the other part, to this proposal that we did request from them is to get the bigger tent size. Because even though we got the numbers that visit the tent, there's some that are waiting in line, that eventually, then something happens, then they take off, that we lose. So we figured by a bigger tent, inviting the local other organizations, and, maybe Mr. Gina or even members of this board can sit there, for one day, however we could come up with it. And you would be surprised, the amount of interest, just because, they've never been to New Mexico. When they hear Las Vegas, New Mexico, that's even more intriguing, just, so we figured by doing a bigger tent, putting a couple of TVs that are kind of hung in the tent with infomercials or whatever it takes. Yeah.
Of what we have.
Different ones, because we had one, but like I said, everybody's, wanting to spin the wheel. Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for that wheel. It was very fun. But, that's just, so we could actually sit down and talk to those that, the parents are always asking, right? But the kids are the ones that want to spin the wheel and do the fun stuff. That way we get more one-on-one time, and it's difficult, you know, I know there's, on weekends, it was what, 3 of us, I think, or 3 or 4 of us, and we still couldn't keep up with the amount of people. So, you know, the bigger tent size is, you know, is where we're kind of looking at, and then, you know, putting where it's a walk-through, and if they really want to talk, you know, we could go, you know, one of us could go and talk and mingle and.
Well, you can
there's just-
highlight all of the activities in northern New Mexico, in Las Vegas, San Miguel County, hiking, climbing, horseback riding, the water activities, historic sites, the food, you know, I mean, just. You've
Well,
got
what
a
we know-
captive audience
What I
right there.
noticed, and then Chuck could probably vouch for this, is that the ones that come from out of state and out of the country, is they're coming to New Mexico for 2 weeks, and they don't go to the Balloon Fiesta for 2 weeks. What they're doing is they're going around, and that's where we're trying to get them to come here. Like, if you talk to them, they already have a kind of set, you know, they have a few days, like they told us, well, you know, I need somewhere to go this weekend. Oh, well, I'm bad, because we were planning to go to, there was a couple that said down south. Like, you know, we're missing.
Spending the rest of the time.
They're spending their time in New Mexico. They come for, it's a 10 days. They're spending their 10 days here, but they only plan like 2 days at the Balloon Fiesta, and the rest of the time, they're kind of in this area.
And look, it's expensive, right? Look, it's gonna cost us $3,750, right, for the 9 nights. Imagine that for a family.
Mhm.
So those days are expensive. They're picking a weekend, they're picking a shoulder, maybe they pick a few days, and then they're choosing where else they can go.
Yep.
Our town can be the place we can go. We did get some uptick last year. Some of the shoulders that we took, it was the eclipse. Okay, it was happening, during the, but we did see some of that growth. There are other towns that are taking advantage of that shoulders, you know.
So the first year that we did it, there was only, there was one city. Yellow, Farmington. Yellow. And then last year, believe it or not, there was 3 cities. I mean, we were one of 2 when we first started, and now there's 3 cities. So that just kind of tells you.
Wyoming.
And then Wyoming. the state of
So-
Wyoming.
And we could,
Oklahoma's, yes.
and then we could, and it, I don't know, since we started this, we always thought that, we came full circle back to doing again, and that we would continue to build on it year after year. So you know, imagining, okay, how much want to do there, but even more so is creating our own events that they can come do here in the city, not just discovering the city, but we have connecting events for us that they can spend time on, that's here. So we can only go bigger from there.
And the reason why I'm here, you know, is just to kind of give my insight. I know Chuck and usually Loretta have been, you know, the main ones that have been there the past 2 years. But I just, you know, my insight and me volunteering that time, you know, just to kind of give you, you know, the insight of when, and I know it could be criticized as to, well, you guys are spending that much there, but I believe just in talking with the community and what I've seen personally, and I even encourage my colleagues, like go one day, go on an evening and you'll see, you know, I mean, I encourage even you guys, you know, one day you want to go and you can see, like.
Well, no, I went. My brother came specifically to see me, of course,
Yeah.
from California, but the eclipse and the Balloon Fiesta. So it was a double whammy.
I think this is a slam dunk. Can I make a motion, Mr. Chairman?
I'll entertain a motion.
Second,
Second. I would like to move that we approve, City of Las Vegas for the 2024 Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta as presented for $30,000. Do we have a second?
Yes. Oh, my.
I mean, he already seconded, so
Matt,
I'm
you
sorry.
have a second.
Apologies.
So roll call.
On my roll, yeah, roll call.
Mr. Matt Martinez,
yes.
Alan Carter,
Yes.
Alder Liston.
Yes.
Mr. Gino Ortega Onca.
Yes.
So we have 4 yeses.
Mr. Chair, I should have said, I, what do you call it? I second the motion, but we have to make sure the mayor goes.
Right.
Yeah, I'll still, I don't know, my time's a little more, I don't know if I'll still. be off on weekends. But I just want to add also that one of the things that we are working with them, which I think is huge, is a banner on one of the balloons.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
Oh, wow.
everybody taking pictures, so that's.
Yeah, and if they take a shot of that, we can say at this time, this was this much viewership. So that was some of the feel good from that first round out, because we knew we had a great shot on the first round that we did it. We knew how many eyeballs were there. That's.
And then the other part of it, and maybe Chuck can get you, the other part was, we're actually on the station that does the balloon test. They'll give us an interview time of, I don't know how much time, where we could go and talk about the city of Los Angeles. So.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all for allowing me to come to the meeting via Zoom.
Give me a call when you can, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
I got it on FEMA right now. There's some papers.
You'll get those details to account, I'm sure.
Everything QR code.
The council and so on.
Advertising, everybody's advertising for us. So
Want
that's
to
how you
do
get
another meeting?
advertisement, okay?
So do you know, you're still with trolley?
Okay.
I am there. I volunteer with them and I'm
So
doing
if
their
there is a meeting
tours.
here again, just, there is an
So some of
elevator.
these things I
There is
didn't
an
go
elevator,
on
you don't have to come
because-
up those stairs. It's just on the other side, so that, you wouldn't have to.
Is that-
go those
maybe
stairs
we
if you have
could,
a meeting in here.
Or you guys could put something together when we do.
I hear you.
We're gonna meet with this guy, so we're gonna specifically talk about it. Because the tour people that he's got a hold of,